Good day, officers. I'm looking for the person in charge of the Hirado case.
That would be me. Oh, Mr. Wright, is it?
Ah, perfect. Yes, Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. I believe you and Sei-san are quite close. Goro Akichi, correct? The brilliant detective?
Brilliance is often in the eye of the beholder, Mr. Wright. Or perhaps in the frustrations of one's opponents in court. I understand you've given Sei-san quite the run for her money in several trials. Your reputation precedes you. It's an honor to meet you in person. Isn't your young, infamous assistant usually by your side?
Infamous. Ah, you mean Maya. Yes, she's quite the character. Brings a lot of lively energy to our investigations. But she's with her sister Mia in their village right now. It's nice of you to ask. But back to the topic at hand.
Of course. How may I assist you?
I'm here because there are several irregularities concerning the Hirado case. Specifically, reports that the victim came back to life. Quite the mystery, don't you think?
Mysteries are part of the job. What's your interest in this case, Mr. Wright?
Let's just say, I have a knack for uncovering the truth. And this case, among others, reeks of hidden truths. For starters, this clearly states the victim was deceased. Yet, now they're walking around as if nothing happened.
Well, your autopsy report is outdated, it seems. Just paperwork mixing up, nothing new in police work.
The autopsy report isn't merely outdated, Detective. It seems to me there's more to this than paperwork errors when the actual victim is seen coming back to life. And I believe you know the real reason behind this anomaly.
Why would you think that? It's impossible for someone to come back from the dead. Someone must have made a mistake somewhere. Well, what's going on?
You're saying it's impossible for someone to come back to life. That's true. But maybe the important point here isn't if the victim is alive or not, but that she was perceived dead enough to appear in an autopsy report, then perceived alive and well, like nothing happened.
Are you suggesting witness hallucinations or confusion?
I'm talking about something a bit more concrete than that. Haven't you noticed any discrepancies in your surroundings lately, Detective? After all, on TV these days, you often push people to see beyond what they see, and not take everything for granted. You insist on keeping one's eyes open. Why such insistence?
It's crucial to always seek the truth and not fall into complacency. I'm merely sharing my experiences with deception to prevent others from suffering the same fate.
An experience in particular that comes to mind?
I don't have any specific examples since last year, no. What are you getting at?
Is that so? Tell me, Detective. You were working with Iwawa Mari until a few weeks ago, right?
Did you investigate me?
I've been investigating several cases similar to Hirado's, and it led me to you. So, Amari?
I was indeed working under him, but I don't see what that has to do with the case you're dealing with.
Under him, you say? Weren't you fully hired as the manager's assistant?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was Amari's assistant.
That's odd for you to say, considering Amari was merely a trainee at the agency.
I beg your pardon?
I'm surprised you weren't aware. Amari was building a case against you for verbal abuse, following your heated argument. Yet a few days ago, he abandoned all charges and quit the agency. His co-workers stated that before his departure, he was seen muttering, "How did I become manager in the first place?" and breaking into tears at his desk, mourning his father. A peculiar reaction, considering his father died a decade ago.
I wasn't privy to such information. We rarely exchanged, so...
Yet, you are positive he was your manager, correct?
Maybe he just pretended to do so. This agency was run poorly and full of corruption, after all. There's a reason I quit.
I see. Still, you perceived him as the boss. And he perceived himself as such, just like Hirado was perceived as dead and is now alive. And it's not the unique occurrence of such oddities. Makes you think, doesn't it?
I can appreciate such relentlessness to seek the truth. What's your hypothesis then?
Considering the matter of life and death, and the fact that Amari seemed genuinely distraught, I don't believe pretending is on the table here. I believe it's a matter of perception, as if people's perception is altered to believe something, somehow.
Like some form of hypnosis?
More concrete than that. Are you familiar with Wakaba Ishiki? I believe she runs the cafe you frequent daily with her companion. Stop me if I'm mistaken.
I don't really appreciate someone keeping tabs on me, Mr. Wright. Especially if they beat around the bush to tell me where they're getting at.
Oh, I didn't follow you, if that's what you fear. Sei-san told me, and I find it interesting, because Mrs. Ishiki conducted some very particular research on cognitive science. A theory that if you can somehow manage to change someone's cognition, their reality changes as well. Fascinating, isn't it?
Cognitive science is just in the domain of the theoretical, though, not based on conclusive evidence. You could say it even enters the domain of the paranormal.
Oh, but trust me, I've had my fair share of paranormal in my line of work. My assistant Maya is a medium. Through her, I've communicated with the beyond. Witnesses no longer with us. Victims seeking justice. I've learned the hard way that the world is much bigger and stranger than our laws and logic can always account for.
Fascinating. And those encounters, they've never made you doubt your sanity? Or the veracity of what you were being told?
Of course, there were moments of doubt. But the outcomes were worth going along with it. Because at the end of the day, when you eliminate the impossible, what remains, no matter how unbelievable, must be
the truth. Yes, I know this famous line, and I agree with Mr. Holmes here. But in our line of work, truth needs to be backed by evidence.
And that's precisely why I'm here today, Akechi-san. If we were to consider the possibility of altering a person's cognition to change their reality, and considering the pattern of these resurrections and the number of witnesses, isn't it possible that the cognition of not just one person, but everyone around the victims was altered? If such occurrences are widespread, and seeing that those numerous cases have no link whatsoever with each other, might it not suggest that reality itself has been tampered with?
Preposterous, isn't it? The idea that someone could wield such power over reality itself.
Preposterous, you say? But Sei Najima mentioned you had a similar line of thought, though. She said, quotation marks, Akichi-kun came up with this odd theory that reality might be altered, but it's impossible to prove. End of quotation. What led you to such philosophical musing?
A detective considers all possibilities, Mr. Wright. But without concrete evidence, that's all they remain. Musings.
I believe that you're not telling me everything, Akechi-san. I don't know why you're being so secretive or defensive. But know that I don't intend to give up. I'll see it to the end, with your help or not. But I believe we would be much more efficient if we worked together to uncover what's going on. Isn't it your motto to constantly seek the truth?
Seeking the truth can be a dangerous game where one can lose everything. Do not cause unnecessary pain, Mr. Wright. This conversation is over.
I see. I won't back down, Akechi-san. Not while there's a mystery to solve and justice to be served. Remember, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Thank you for your time, and please, if you reconsider, you know where to find me.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright.
So we're basically sitting ducks until we can figure out a better angle against Maruki, huh? But we need more than just evasion tactics.
Exactly. Maruki's grasp on reality is tighter than anything we've faced. What if he catches on? He's already several steps ahead with what he's possibly done to Goro.
Precisely. Our actions must be both subtle and profound. Goro, despite the ambiguity surrounding his current state, is crucial. None of us can enter the cognitive world without him, correct?
But how can we even trust what he says now? If Maruki's got to him, anything Akechi tells us could be a trap. And if he's really on our side, he's playing 4D chess right now.
That's the thing. I don't sense any deception from him. It's more like he's calculating, holding something back. He insisted he was unaffected, but his insistence was almost too deliberate. It's not like him to seek refuge without a plan. Something's amiss.
A strategic facade, then. Perhaps he's playing a role to deceive Maruki, keeping his true intentions hidden even from us.
Or maybe he's just confused about where he stands. Being under Maruki's influence has to be disorienting to him, even if he's just semi-aware of it.
Why would he fall under his influence if he has the power to awaken others to the truth? It makes no sense at all. I don't buy it. Akechi's too sharp to let himself get muddled by Maruki's manipulations. There's a plan there, we just have to figure it out.
Yeah, well, we've already established solutions in case he's brainwashed and solutions in case he isn't, but this, it wasn't really planned.
We must also consider our own perception. If Maruki is as omnipresent as we fear, then perhaps this conversation is not as private as we assume. Caution is our ally.
Right, it's creepy. He used to have all those huge cameras in his palace in Odaiba.
Yoo-hoo! Maruki, are you enjoying the show?
Is it really wise to mock him like that?
But if he was really listening in, wouldn't he just erase our existence from everyone's memory? Considering the threat we pose and all. We're not Akira's wish, so...
No need to panic. He doesn't have that kind of hearing. I've rigged the computer in his Shibuya office with enough bugs to call it a tech zoo. From the bits and bytes I've pieced together, he's only tuned into our emotional states, distress or peace of mind. That's outside the cognitive world, of course. There, he's basically omnipotent. As for the real world, we should be under the radar.
That's a relief. However, I suggest that we refrain from openly risking going out in public if we are not sure about Maruki's influence on Goro.
How about we test the waters a bit? A few weeks back, I floated the idea of window shopping in Akihabara with Akechi. Maybe it's time to cash in that rain check.
You think he'll go for it? After all this cloak and dagger stuff, suddenly going shopping?
It's the normalcy of it that might work in our favor. If he's really under Maruki's influence, how he responds to a regular outing could tell us a lot.
Exactly. Plus, it's neutral ground. If things get weird, we can easily bail. All right, I'm calling him.
Futaba, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Hey, Akechi. Remember when I mentioned a while back about hitting up Akihabara for some window shopping? I was thinking, if you're not too busy today, we could check it out. What do you say?
That sounds like a delightful idea, actually. It'll be nice to get out of our usual neighborhoods together. Is Mona with you? There seems to be a purr in the background.
Yeah, Mona will be there. We thought it'd be nice, just hanging out, you know? Like a small break from all the craziness.
Wonderful. I'll get ready and meet you in the afternoon then. Looking forward to it.
Great, see you then. Well, he's in. Sounded genuinely pleased too, but it's Akechi, so who knows?
This is strangely normal. Almost too normal, considering everything that's going on.
Maybe that's the facade he wants to present. You will have to be vigilant and observe any discrepancies in his behavior.
Aren't you coming, Yusuke?
Regrettably, no. With the veil lifted, my enrollment at Shujin was but a facade. I must dedicate myself to my art more than ever, lest I risk my academic standing at Kosei.
Damn, Inari, Maruki even messed with your schooling?
Indeed, Futaba. His alterations ran deep, reshaping the very fabric of our lives to craft his ideal reality. Without Goro's singular abilities, we'd remain ensnared in this masquerade indefinitely, oblivious and without recourse.
Talk about irony that our fates hinge on that guy. We're doomed, aren't we?
Hey, he put everything on the line for us last December and helped us with Maruki's palace back in January. Plus, you saw him. He faced losing his memories, his identity, all to pull me back from the brink. We can't afford to doubt him now, regardless of whether he's feigning loyalty or truly ensnared by Maruki. Besides, he's right when he says that we should keep our heads down as long as Maruki is around, right?
I guess you've got a point. Dodging Maruki is crucial for me too. My own feelings aside, I know that Mom would never forgive me if I stopped looking for the truth. So, the plan is to lure Maruki away eventually, while placing our bets on Akechi in the meantime? Is that it?
I, for one, place my faith in him, not out of blind trust. That was a hard lesson to learn. But because his actions have consistently demonstrated a commitment to unveiling the truth. Aligning with Maruki now would be illogical, and moreover, I sense he's undergone significant change from the man surrounded by darkness we once knew.
He's definitely not the same. He's evolved, learned, yet through it all, one aspect remains unaltered: his unwavering commitment to his own sense of justice. And that conviction will not permit Maruki's vision to prevail.
His own sense of justice, huh?
We're not murderers! So what?
Guess we don't have much choice.
Hey kid, Akira's still asleep?
Yeah, he sleeps like a log. Need some help, boss?
No, it's not about the cafe. I wanted to have a chat with you about Akira. He doesn't hang out with his friends anymore. Stays here or in the attic all day, except for school or his part-time jobs.
I've noticed that as well. He seems different than before, more withdrawn.
Exactly. Last year, this place was always buzzing with you kids coming and going. Now it's like he's just going through one day after the other. He doesn't talk much about what's bothering him either.
Akira has always been someone who keeps his cards close to his chest. But you're right. His behavior lately has been more than just reticence.
I'm not good with all this emotional stuff, but even I can tell something's off. You're close to him more than anyone else these days. You have any idea what's going on?
It's complicated. Akira is, dealing with a lot right now. More than what most people could handle. We're trying to work through it together.
I don't need to know all the details, just the kid means a lot to me, even if I don't always show it. And, how to put it.
I care about him too, boss. More than you might realize. I won't let him face whatever this is alone.
It's complicated, huh? Look, Akira needs more than just stewing in his own thoughts. What about his friends? Can't you arrange something? Even Futaba's getting the cold shoulder and she's not opening up about it either.
Yes, I've noticed the gap with Futaba too. Pushing him towards socialization. It's a sensible idea, but not as simple as flipping a switch. Still, your point stands. I'll see what I can do, boss.
I don't expect miracles, just try, all right? He respects you, use that. And remind him he's got a family here, not just a battleground to brood over.
Understood. And I appreciate the candor. I'll ensure Akira gets the message. Loud and clear. As for the brooding, well, I'll see what I can do about that as well. No promises.
That's all I'm asking for. Just keep an eye on him and remember, my door's always open to you kids. Whatever's eating at him, you don't have to face it alone.
I'll make sure he knows. Thank you, boss.
Mona, you're too heavy. Ugh. You can do better than that, dickhead. Do you know who I am? Right. Fuck. When did I change into pajamas? Whatever. Panther. Agadine.
Wake up, Dormouse. There's life beyond these four walls.
Mona. Please, 5 more minutes, Mona. Oh.
A trip to Akihabara with me and Futaba. Interested? Or are you planning to merge with the mattress?
When did you escape the bed? And how long have you been up? What day is it even?
Believe it or not, Nijima-san only tolerates real sick days. I couldn't stay tethered to the bed for no reason, could I? I've been up since the ungodly hour of 7 a.m., and it's now noon. October 7th, Wednesday to be precise. Time's ticking, lazy trash.
noon, huh? A trip to Akihabara. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I've got a shift at 777. Duty calls.
My sleuthing instinct senses an affinity for bullshit around here. Why cling to those part-time shackles? I was under the impression you descended beyond financial woes.
Oh, because wealth is such a stable foundation, right? I no longer have the luxury of dipping into the metaverse for a quick financial fix.
You do realize money isn't a one-way ticket to happiness, right? I was swimming in cash under Shido's thumb and felt as empty as ever. It's the connections we make, the real, annoying, meaningful friendships that count. So, how about it?
Endless window shopping with Futaba has been the highlight of my year. There's a limit to how many limited editions one can pretend to admire. Your turn to play tour guide.
We could dive into the world of games together. A shared quest, if you will.
Why not strip it back to just us then? Cut out the middlemen?
The point, Akira, is to not become hermits. It's not just us against the world. Mona's coming too. We've been holed up here long enough. I get it. Reaching out is hard, but turning into social recluses isn't the solution. So, are you in? Or should I inform Sakura-san you've become a permanent fixture of this bed?
Did Futaba extend the invitation to me directly, or was it your initiative?
She didn't specify, but she's aware that we're together here, so...
There it is. Enjoy yourselves then.